99, property taxes, exemptions, nonprofit organizations. Yes. Now, an act relating to providing greater consistency in how nonprofit tax-exempt property may be used without jeopardizing, yes, the property's tax-exempt status. Um, Senate Bill 6405, yes. Now, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Washington, tax-exempt property and nonprofit organization may generally be used for non-exempt purposes on a limited basis. Oops. Oh my gosh, I'm glad that happened. I would have not been able to find it. Yes. Now, this act is not intended to place any additional limits or restrictions on any existing statutory authority non-exempt use of exempt property. The following real and personal property exempt from taxation, all lands, buildings, personal property requiring the necessary measures, so on and so on and so on and so forth. All churches, personal property, and the ground not exceeding 5 acres in land, upon which the church and non-profit religious, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. Yeah. Now, does not exceed the equivalent of 120 by 120 feet except additional and unoccupied, so on and so forth. The parsonage and convent need not be on the land. Yes. If the rental income or donations, if applicable, are reasonable and do not exceed the maintenance operational attributed to the portion of the property loaned or rented, the exempted price is not nullified by. Now, the loan or rental or property otherwise exempt in this subsection to a nonprofit organization, association, corporation, or school, yeah, to conduct an eleemosynary activity or activities related to the farmer's market. Now, the rental use of property, individual entity where the rental or use is otherwise authorized for not for 50 days of calendar year, the property is not used for pecuniary gain or to the promote a business after more than 15 and 50 days a year. Now, an inadvertent use of the property in a manner inconsistent with the purpose for the exemption, an inadvertent use of the property, the partner presumably is a repeated assessment every 2 years or more successful. Now, a pattern of use is presumed when an inadvertent use is repeated in the same assessment year, or in 2 or more successive assessment years. Yes. So you do assess the property, yeah, and you assessed it at $10,000. Now, there is certain qualifications for the use of property, yeah. And the rental or use of the property, the following real property, property owned by nonprofit associations, so on and so forth. Benevolent, protective, or rehabilitative social service directed to persons of all ages, yes. Sale of donated merchandise considered non-exempt use of property on the section proceeds devoted furtherance to the purposes of organizations, yes. Property owned by any non-profit church, denomination, group of church organizations, exemplified, so on and so forth. Property owned by all organizations and societies of veterans of any of the United States. Yeah. Exempt such property must be used in such a manner reasonably necessary to carry out the purpose objects of such societies. Yeah. Now, they removed all this, fundraising activities, so on and so forth, the use of property pecuniary gains a period not more than 15 days a year. Real personal property administrative, yes. To be exempt, the property must be used exclusively for the purpose exemption is granted, otherwise provided in the section. General public good means members of the community derive a benefit from the rental or use of the property by the non-profit. Property exempt from taxation, real personal property, non-profit. Yeah. Real personal property owned by non-profit meeting exempt from taxation. Now, I'm just wanting to know here, exactly when do you assess the actual value of the property? Ouch. Um, just so I know. Okay. I understand it's a tax exempt property. Yes. A population less than 20,000, provided so on maintenance, operation expense attributable to a portion of property loaned or rented. Yes. Department of Revenue must narrowly construe this exemption. Exempt from taxation, yeah. Real property so exempt exceed 400 acres, including but not limited buildings, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. Property used pecuniary gain to promote business activities, used for measure separately, so on and so forth. Following property shall exempt from taxation. Now, I just wanted to know, of that property, were you sending all the court notices? Yes. Did he actually sell the location where Mike? Yeah. Hmm. Somehow, I think that there are some very specific building permits. Yes, plans for financial construction, remodeling, itemized purpose construction, use of property exempt under subsection, section, so on and so forth. Property tax exemption and chapter exempt is provided, notifies exemption otherwise available property for the assessment year. Now, these assessment years of all these charitable property, exactly when's the last time that you assessed the actual market value of the property? Now, I think I'm right, okay? I know Mike's probably saying, well, you're not having sex with my wife. But my thought is when I sue him, you might go to prison for a very long time. Now, this obligation to have to volunteer when on the personal property of Mike, or was it somebody else that see, I was living there in 2000. Yeah, now, I was wanting to talk to Marilyn about her involvement in this because it looks to me like there is an actual property assessment. Yes. Yeah, there's some original price cost from profit organization. Now, property sold organization within an option to repurchase by so does not qualify exempt status. Did you sell it for 156,000, agreeing that you purchase it back? No, I just wanted to know because quite often when you're involved in money laundering, it could have been that somebody said, "Well, I'll buy it from you as long as you agree to buy it back from me." No, the organization, yeah, the property sold to organization, association, corporation, such an option to repurchase by the seller does not qualify for exempt status. This subsection does not apply to property sold to a nonprofit entity as defined, so on and so forth. Yes. Housing authority. Yes. Did anybody actually? Oh, well, you weren't money, right? Mike, it's Paul. you know,